Today we're going to be revisiting Shi No Numa 5,071 days later. As I've said many times in this series so far, I've been really excited to make this series for a very long time. However, these next couple maps hold a very special and nostalgic place in my heart, as starting with Shi No Numa. There is so many innovations and so many additions that were made in this map that truly revolutionized zombies as we know it going forward. We'll talk about those things throughout this episode, but if you guys are excited for this, well then, I don't know, lean back, grab a snack, grab a drink, relax, get cozy, because we're about to get nostalgic. So this map was the introduction of our beloved crew, that being the Ultimus crew with Tank Dempsey, Nikolai Belinsky, Takeo Misaki, and Dr. Edward Richtofen. If you're newer to COD Zombies, you might not be as familiar with Ultimus, you may be more familiar with Primus, which is the crew that we play as at the end of Black Ops 2 and through the entirety of Black Ops 3, and for part of Black Ops 4. There's a whole lot to explain with the zombie storyline there, so we're not even going to get into it in this episode since we really don't even need to worry about it for 2 whole games yet. Before we get too far into the video, I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments. Who is your favorite from the original Ultimus crew? It's honestly really hard for me to pick one. Like, if I had to choose one, I couldn't. I love all of them for their own reasons. Tank Dempsey is the stern but kind of insane Marine. You know, you got the drunk Russian that everybody loves. Dr. Edward Richtofen, I mean, he's just...
No ammo. Good old-fashioned lightning gun. Sweet.
Yes. As I was saying, Richtofen is insane, but obviously we love him for it. And, you know, Takeo, I love Takeo and all, but he was definitely the one where if the game made me play as him for any reason, I was like, okay, yeah, cool, I'm Takeo, but it wasn't anything I was ecstatic over. Anyway, I was not expecting this to happen. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about it now. Yeah, this was the first Zombies map to have an official wonder weapon. Like, sure, the ray gun is a wonder weapon, but I mean like a real wonder weapon, like one that can take you to high rounds. And since we got this wonder weapon so early, I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and get to the training spot. So for those of you that don't know, there is like a very particular strategy that people that go for high rounds on this map do. See, what I always did and what I thought was the best training spot was out here in the comm room. Like, you go out here and you train around that area. But apparently my entire life is a lie, and I just learned like last year that the best place you want to go to is actually out here in the fishing hut. This map also caught me way off guard back in the day, because back then training wasn't exactly a thing. Like, it was sort of a thing. Like, it started here in Shi No Numa where people kind of started to figure it out, but then by the time Doris rolled around, since the catwalk was such a great spot to camp, people kind of forgot about it. And then when Kino der Toten rolled around, that's when training got really popular, with people like Syndicate going for like round 115 on the stage. But back in the day, yeah, Shi No Numa kind of caught like all of us off guard, because we were like, wait, there's nowhere to camp, so what do we do? So we just kind of started like running around trying to figure it out. And I remember shortly after this map came out, you know, it took me a couple of games to figure it out, but I started kind of like running around in the comm room, and I was like, oh, okay, this strategy kind of works. And I remember getting to like round 30 and being so happy over it. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually made it to round 30. But before we get into all that, before we get into high round strategies, I really want to find Jug, which unfortunately it's harder to find Jug on this map than it is on literally any other map. And you may be wondering, Grotesque, why is that so? And that is because every single perk on this map is randomized. So when you go to open up one of the huts, a perk will spawn. However, you have no idea what perk it's going to be. It's random every single game, and there's 4 huts. So you can either get Jug as early as round 4 like we may here, or I thought I was going to die right there, if I'm going to be honest. Or you might get unlucky and you might not get it until way later on, like, I don't know, round 12, round 13, probably by the time you get everything opened up. Please give me Jug. This is World of War. Like, I like getting Jug as soon as possible, just given the circumstances. And I got Speakola. Okay, that is not what I wanted. I used to think that the perks on this map, like, were free, because when you go up to them for some reason, it just says press and hold X to buy. Obviously, on every other map, it says, you know, this perk costs 2,000, this perk costs 1,500, this perk costs 2,500. But on this map, it doesn't say that. You just go up to it and it says press and hold X to buy. So as a kid, I was like, oh, does that mean the perks are free? And then unfortunately it wasn't. I mean, sure, at the top it says $3,000, but the thing is, the currency in zombies isn't dollars. It's just points. So, you know, that technically, canonically, lore speaking, $3,000 doesn't exactly mean much, because like for all we know, $3,000 in points can be a lot more or a lot less. Anyway, stupid nerdy stuff aside, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That just always kind of caught me off guard. I always just found that kind of interesting. We should be seeing one of the new additions that this map has to offer soon. No, okay, it's not going to be this round either, so I guess we'll have to wait till next round to see it. In the meantime, I gotta be really careful. I'm not going to let this Wonder Wolf go. I do not want to go down. I mean, I guess I could play it safe and just kind of like stay out here in the typical training spot. So basically what you do is you just train them up out here. Personally, I really don't like doing this until I have Jug, just because it's really easy to get caught up out here, and if I'm gonna be honest, I really suck at training on World of War, just given the circumstances of how glitchy it is and how easily the zombies can suck you in. I always feel really unsafe training on this game. Even once I'm set up with all my perks, I feel really unsafe. I feel like death is awaiting me at every turn. Unfortunately, though, there's not really a workaround for that, because as I've said, there's not really any good camping spots on this map. Not to my knowledge, at least. I mean, I've been playing this map for a solid 14 years now, and I've never found a good camping spot. And unfortunately, my Wunderwaffe is almost out of ammo. I have been kind of, you know, going trigger happy with it, because I mean, I haven't gotten the World of War Wunderwaffe in so long. I can't even tell you the last time that I booted up World of War Shi No Numa. And this is really the only map that I'm comfortable with using the Wunderwaffe. Wait.
Fetch me their soul.
There it is. This is one of the other new additions in this map, and that is the Hellhounds. However, unfortunately, I am very low on ammo, so I have to be rather careful here. Hopefully, I do not go down. I'm going to go ahead and grab some ammo for the Thompson, and we're going to open up this door and pray that Jug is out here. Hellhounds in the new games, they really aren't as scary because they aren't as much of a threat. However, in World of War, that is not the case. These guys are absolutely terrifying. They will rock your stuff, and they will get you down without even looking at you twice. Come on, there we go. Got the max ammo. Hellhounds in World of War were a true threat. In Black Ops 1, they were still kind of a threat, but not so much. Black Ops 2, they weren't even in any of the Black Ops 2 maps unless you went into the settings and turned them on manually, and then by the time Black Ops 3 came around, they were just like popcorn enemies. You shoot them once and they explode, and that's it. Black Ops 4, they became kind of scary again because you had stuff like the Tigers where at launch they could get you down to like one shot, and that sucked. And then in games like Black Ops Cold War, yeah, they're just kind of like popcorn enemies again. It's really taking me back seeing the OG version of this map again, like all these locations, because the last time that I've played Shi No Numa was on Vanguard Zombies. Like, anytime that I've had the itching to play Shi No Numa, I've just went to Vanguard, because honestly, you know, say what you will about Vanguard Zombies, I thoroughly enjoy Shi No Numa on that game. And I know this is a very controversial hot take, but Shi No Numa on Vanguard is one of my favorite round-based maps of all time. It's genuinely a lot of fun to play. Plus, I really love all the new additions that they made between the Easter egg and the Pack-a-Punch. It's a really full and fun experience. Not to mention the fact that they added a really good training spot out back, which, you know, obviously it's closed off in here because it wasn't even a part of the original map, but on the new version of Shi No Numa, there's a door right here. You open it, you go out there, and Pack-a-Punch is waiting for you, and there's like this big area. It's like a really good training spot. But anyways, one last thing about the Hellhounds that I wanted to mention is that at the end of every single Hellhound round, you end up getting a max ammo. So while typically, you know, the Hellhounds may just kind of seem like a random threat thrown in there that could possibly be annoying, you end up getting a max ammo at the end of every single Hellhound round. So it actually ends up being a round that you kind of look forward to, especially if you're struggling on ammo. Please give me Jug. I've opened up literally every other single door at this point. See, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't get Jug until very last. Oh well, it is what it is. I just have to pray that the game won't glitch out on me. But that mechanic of like the special enemy type round giving you a max ammo at the end of it carried over to many other types of them. Like, for example, you have the Jumping Jacks and Die Rise. They give you a max ammo. See, that's what I'm talking about. This game is super glitchy. I definitely shot that zombie and it didn't even register the first time. You got like the Jumping Jacks and Die Rise that give you a max ammo. And then you got like those parasite flying bug things in Shadows of Evil that give you a max ammo. Then you got like the meatballs as well in Shadows of Evil. Oh no, I do not want to go down here. Please, reload, finish. Wunderwaffe be with me. Did you guys see that right there? The zombies, like, just like all glitched out. They're pathing in their AI. They were like, well, he ran too far to the left, so now we don't even know how to target him. But anyways, considering that this is the last hut that I've opened, as you can see, Juggernog finally spawned in. That's one thing I hate about like the original Wunderwaffe reload, as I'm sure you guys have seen many times. Like, as it's finishing up the reload, I keep trying to run to cancel out that last part of the reload animation so I can get back to shooting. However, it doesn't exactly work that way, because like even when the ammo says at the bottom that you're good to go to shoot, if you start sprinting, it doesn't cancel out the animation. You end up like having to finish it anyway. I know that probably makes very little sense as I'm sitting here trying to explain it, but if you play Call of Duty and you know how reload canceling works, then you know what I mean. One cool new addition to this map is also the zip line. I mean, it's absolutely useless considering the fact that it costs 1,500 points to use, so on the low rounds, it's not really something you want to be using, but on the higher rounds, if you have enough money and if you need a quick escape, yeah, it can be kind of cool to hop out here, spend a quick 1,500 to get taken back up to the center hut. However, more times than not, by the time that you actually get back up to the center hut after... I got one-tapped. That's what I'm talking about. I would have been fine if I had Juggernog, but the game didn't want to give it to me till last. Well, I guess we'll play for a bit longer. I mean, I haven't been recording long enough to make this a full video yet. Nobody ever gives any love to the Arasaka, so you know what? We're gonna give some love to the Arasaka today. Like, by the time that you get off the zipline and you're back at the center hut, all the zombies that you were trying to escape from are already back and waiting to surround you, so it's usually pretty useless to take that thing in the first place. Are you okay? This will probably get me demonetized, but you can also mess with Peter McCain's corpse here. You can, like, shoot him and maybe fly him around. Hey, what are you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm just hanging around. Speaking of demonetization and stuff like that, normally I never really talk about this stuff mid-video or plug it, but I just wanted to let you guys know for any of my channel members that are watching this. Right now, I'm currently working on special emotes for you guys, so right now, whenever you guys comment, there's like a special badge next to your name that lets everybody know that you're a member. However, I'm planning on making special emotes, so then when you guys are commenting on the videos, you guys will be able to use those. And the emotes are based off of the channel's OC. For those of you that don't know, the OC for this channel is Buff Asian Boy. It's the person that's on like the profile picture of the channel. There's a whole backstory to Buff Asian Boy. We won't get into it here. Basically, every time that we play a game like an RPG or just some other game that has a character creator, we always name them Buff Asian Boy. We make them buff. We give them red hair. It's just like it's just like a thing on the channel here. But anyways, all of the emotes are going to be based off of that. So if instead of using like the stereotypical emoji laughing, you'll instead be able to use an emoji where Buff Asian Boy is laughing, or where Buff Asian Boy is drinking a smoothie, or where Buff Asian Boy is looking feisty with his hands up. And there's no way I died on round 3. We're going again. I promise, I'm usually never this terrible at zombies. It just happens when I'm recording because I don't have any audio right now, and I don't like wearing headphones because, like, when I put on my headphones, they're noise canceling, so I just end up, like, screaming, and I don't want to be screaming in everybody's ears during the video. And I mean, I could, like, turn my TV down really low, which is what I end up doing when I'm making videos on, like, Souls games, for example, where I really want to hear, but for, like, zombies, it's hard to play unless you have, like, full audio. Because as you're playing, you never realize just how important audio is, but then once you don't have it, you're like, oh my gosh, I actually really miss having that. Being able to hear when they're sneaking up on you is genuinely huge. And plus, World of War is just super glitchy as is. I guarantee once we get to Black Ops 1, we'll be hitting like round 20 in every video, no problem. There's another gun on this map that doesn't get enough love. That is the Gewehr, or the Gewehr, there's so many people say it so many different ways. I just say the Gewehr. I don't know if that's the proper pronunciation or not, nor do I care. It just sucks that some of the semi-auto rifles in World of War Zombies are genuinely useless, like the M1 Garand, the Gewehr 43. Like, could you imagine if these guns were actually good? I would love to get to round 30 with an M1 Garand. Like, sure, in something like Vanguard Zombies, that's actually viable now, but like, come on, I'm talking the OG World of War Garand. Like, that thing hits different. One thing I love about World of War Zombies is how much it feels like a tower defense game. At least when you're in the spawn, you know, you're going to the windows, you're shooting them with rifles and stuff like that. And if you know anything about the development of World of War Zombies, that's actually what the creators of the mode were like heavily inspired by, was like tower defense stuff. In fact, if you'd like to know more about zombies and the history of it, I was planning on doing a retrospective about like all of the zombies games before. However, the original video that I made on it really didn't do that good at all, so I ended up just kind of scrapping that idea. However, if you're interested in seeing that original video that I made where I did like a complete retrospective on World of War, I broke down all the nitty-gritty details about every single map, the release, the development, all of that. I'll be sure to leave a link to it like somewhere towards the top of the description so you guys can go and check it out. I'm actually really proud of that one. It took me like an entire month to put together, and it only ended up getting like 20 or 30 views or something like that, which honestly, it didn't bother me that bad, and to this day, it still doesn't bother me that it didn't do that great because I had a lot of fun making it. Like, to this day, that is one of the most fulfilling videos I've ever made. Like, it was so satisfying once I finally got it up. And the way I see it, like, even if the video didn't do too great views-wise, just considering the fact that I had so much fun making that video makes it worth it in my heart, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care about the views necessarily. However, if I upload a video and I see that it doesn't do well, then that's kind of my indication to maybe not do that again, or if I do it again, then maybe branch out or evolve it in some way so that more people will want to click on it. That's kind of my philosophy with YouTube. Like, make content that I actually want to make and that I have fun with and that I enjoy creating. However, if it doesn't do well, then maybe switch up the formula or evolve it in some way so then it interests more people. Because at the end of the day, while this is my job, you know, it's always important to keep things fun, make things fresh, and make sure you're actually enjoying what you're doing. I know this is a totally random tangent, but if you're new to the channel, this is just kind of what I do. I start a video with one thing in mind, and then conversations go left, right, center, and all over the place. Hey, look at that. We got two of some of my most favorite guns in World of War. The trench gun, which is one of my favorite shotguns in zombies, period. And then the FG-42, which I was saying back 2 episodes ago in the Knocked episode. This has always been one of my favorite weapons in World of War, and I'm not exactly sure why. I just love how it feels. I love how it controls. I love the aesthetic of it, the reload, just everything. I love this weapon. And I still can't believe that this thing is an LMG. I could have swore it was like an AR or an SMG, but then like a couple years ago, I just found out it was like, you know, an LMG. Let's go ahead and get a sound effects check on that trench gun.
You just got get flesh on my new boots!
So good, man. It's so clean. Well, I've been recording for a little while now, so I think this is where I'm gonna call it quits. The next episode is obviously gonna be on Reese, which I'll probably do that tomorrow. Why not just knock out all the World of War maps back to back to back? So if you guys are excited for that, then be sure to check back in tomorrow. Anyway, as always, a shout out to the Patrons and channel members: Kermit's Fig Grandma, Liberty Stab, Big Daddy, Matty, Chalupasaurus Rex, Razak, Polar, Ray, Webster, Lamas, Bianca, Spicatory, Drippy Sonic, Mela, Lasking, Kudo, Magic, Mason, Mr. 515, Flim, 1, Aaron Reynolds, and Unknown. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.